In the past 6 weeks or so, sexual harassment charges have taken down Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, now Matt Lauer. All of it feels a bit like a cultural watershed, especially as millions of women have joined in by posting or tweeting the hashtag #METOO. Sexual harassment seems everywhere. It is a problem. Is it just that we're recognizing it for the first time, or is something else going on? Could there be something of a moral panic underway? Christina Hoff Sommers is resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. In a recent piece for the New York Daily News, she warned that the #METOO phenomenon will soon mutate into a general vilification of all men everywhere. Christina Hoff Sommers joins us tonight. Christina, thanks for coming on.
Great to be here.
So I assume, I know that cases like Harvey Weinstein appall you. You've said that.
Yes.
But you're saying that this may morph into something different.
We have to be careful. It's a very important moment. I think we're watching a major cultural shift before our eyes. It's as men and women are rewriting the social contract. And it's a time where we really can kind of bring the workplace up to 21st century standards of dignity and equality. But I see a risk. I've seen signs of, as you said, a kind of panic around sexuality, and particularly a tendency to vilify all men. The fact that some men are predators, it doesn't follow logically that all men are, and yet there's a lot of rhetoric about, trying to implicate all men in a pathology.
And what would be the motive behind, I mean, it's prima facie ludicrous, because a person commits a crime does not mean all people who look like that person are going to commit the same crime, obviously. But what do you think's driving claims that all men are to blame?
Well, we have in our universities some very hardline gender activists, and I consider myself a feminist. This is not true of all feminists, but there is a school of feminism that is very averse to masculinity. It sees it as, intrinsically pathological and toxic.
Right.
And in the academy, there are a lot of exaggerated statistics about male perfidy and carrying on with these theories about masculinity. And I have seen activists, Roxane Gay, for example, wrote in the New York Times that it was, calling for all men to come forth and admit to their, sins, great and small, against women. All men? Not all men. The majority of, men of goodwill are going to join with women and address this problem. So I just draw the line at this male bashing and carrying on. There was a professor on NPR that thought the only solution to the harassment problem was to radically transform the way we raise boys, and she had these very extravagant theories about changing how resource socializing little boys. Again, this is an overreaction.
Well, I wonder, though, if it even makes sense as a theory. I mean, is the idea that American men have just gotten a lot more masculine in recent years, and this is an outgrowth of that? Does anybody argue that? I mean, that seems the implication, but it seems like crazy.
Any theory that's going to target half the human race is bound to fail. But this is what we see. It's very common in the university to treat, men as almost the enemy. And again, this is not typical of feminism everywhere, but in the academy,
right,
this is being taught, and I now see these professors coming forth, and their theories are in the air. And I've seen a willingness to sacrifice innocent people, because when we remind people of the importance of the presumption of innocence and being careful about false accusation. There have been some activists who've said, well, who cares if some innocent people go down?
We've interviewed them. Right.
Yeah. And so that sort of attitude worries me, and it's going
terrifying.
to harm a good cause, because if we can not allow various groups with strange agendas to hijack this
right.
issue, we can actually address it and maybe improve the workplace.
I hope that happens. Christina, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.